Hello everyone, this is Diane. Welcome to my pretty pink cottage. Today we'll be working on a sea-themed journal. And I had told you in one video that this year's seashore journal would be a bit different because I have this Stamperia 8x8 paper pad called Mechanical Sea World. So it's a steampunk sea-themed journal. So that will require a new way of thinking about these things and not the fresh, bright colors of the ocean-themed things that I would think of. So we're going to talk a little bit about how I will make that adjustment, and we're going to do some experimenting with some pieces. I did a little experimenting, and I want to make something like this, but I want it to turn out different. This is too dark. So we're going to experiment with some stuff. So let's just take a look at the Stamperia paper. Like I said, it's 8x8. There are 10 double-faced sheets, so I think this is not counted. I don't know. I didn't count, but I can use that, the back side. I love the blues and the rust colors together. It's a nice cool morning. It's going to get hot today, but I have my window open. I mean, it's getting close to noon, but I have a nice breeze coming in, so that's just gonna allow more noise in, so I'm sorry. I like this one with the lady. She's got anchor earrings and gears in her hair and looks like coral stuck in her hair. Look at that fish. Oh, there's another. That's the back page. So I'm not sure, but there might be 10 plus those cover pages. 2 cover pages. Look at this seahorse, mechanical seahorse. He's really cool. Pier number 9, rust. So that's going to be fun. So I want to build on these colors, of course. And I thought about this book. I think I'm going to use this book, Adventures in Science. It looks like it could be under the water. And it's a large book, so I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that because these are 8x8. And I don't want to fold these in half and have them just be like that. So I think what I could do is just fold a little bit so that it fits on the page, and then attach something here, and then this would be on the back side, and then I could have other pages cut taller. And I have this. This came in a packet of things from one of my Happy Meals recently, and I thought that's perfect. I'm not sure what I will do to the octopus. I have to do something before I glue him down, but I thought I could cover this up with him. And then I couldn't sleep last night. I was up till almost 3. I tried to sleep and then I got back up. So, sorry. I was working on cutting and embossing stuff. So I cut some gears and fish and seahorse die cuts, and I just wouldn't have thought that I'd be cutting fish and gears for the same journal. But here's some gears, and I've already done a treatment on these, which I'm going to show you. And then the seahorse, but the seahorse is darker than I want, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But I think that's kind of the arrangement I want to do, but I don't know if I want to steampunk up this octopus by adding something to him. I just don't know. I haven't really thought about that yet. So while I was up last night and couldn't sleep, I did some stamping and embossing of some stamps that I have. This is a Tim Holtz set, which is perfect. Is it Tim Holtz or Graphic 45? No, I don't remember. But it's perfect for this journal. And then these images are from Your Creative Studio, and they were sent to me by my friend Leslie. I'm going to grab a drink. I'm sorry, guys. I don't like to have water in here because my space is small and I work in a frenzy sometimes and I know I'd spill it. But I just brought my glass in. So I'll cut these out and do something with them. It didn't help, did it? I'm so sorry. I found this when I was looking for papers to cut with my die cut and emboss. This was like in a sampler pack with my Italian Florentine paper that I ordered. Another thing that came with the Florentine paper were these backing papers that are shiny. They're just beautiful. It says right here, I can't read it. Oh, it's in Italian decorative paper, so it's just their brand there, and it was folded over. The papers were set in there, but that's a bonus. So I embossed it with my Seabed embossing folder from Stampin' Up, which I think they still have. I used this. I'm going to tone that down with some inks, but I did some gears, and I thought that would be fun in an undersea steampunk journal. And I just used some regular cardstock. I have gears and coral and fish cut out of different colors and different things embossed. This is one that embossing folder I got in a Happy Mail also. And this is not steampunk or undersea related, but I thought I could make that work with a steampunk theme and another seabed one. So how am I going to select papers and stuff? Let me clean all that stuff off of here. I'm going to show you papers that I had pulled, papers and fabrics that were in my collection for doing a sea-themed journal. These are some of them. So these are, and they were seashell, seashore, mermaid, all in one container. So I already set aside ones that I would just use for mermaid journals, but these are going to join that group. Those are for mermaid journals, and probably this one too. And instead of using those bright, pretty underwater fabrics, I decided to try these batiks because they look murky and dangerous and steampunky. I think these would go better with a steampunk journal than those bright ones. What do you think? I've got big and small pieces. And this I could use, I think, in some way. I think that would be fine, and this one. So we'll see. We'll just see what I end up using. And I have pages out of this book, and I can certainly use images. I've been cutting them. I think I have them. Yeah, I've tucked them into a drawer over here, so I can use those images that I cut out of this book. Oh, I was looking for this. This is something I got from a 2004 Somerset Studio magazine, and I thought I could adapt that for my Steampunk Sea World journal. It's got netting here and a seashell and something hanging on it, so I don't know. I couldn't find what I did with that, so I'm glad I found it. This is the green dyed paper that I can use, and coffee dyed glassine craft paper, and this map. So I went through my papers and was looking for specific ones that I could use for this type of journal. And, well, look at these. And look at, whoops, this. Is that just about perfect? Yes, it's just about perfect. But if I wanted some contrasting colors, I also selected some lighter colors, and I would coffee dye them so they wouldn't be quite so bright. But that is a fun grungy, steampunk looking paper, and that one. So I have more than I need, but I have them pulled, and I will coffee dye some of them and see what we end up using. Now, on to our experiment. I was doing embossing, as I said, last night. And then I took my seahorse and, oh, I've got to get all those little pieces punched out. I should have done that before I started the video. And I'm going to emboss on him. If you notice, let me show you this while I'm doing that. The multicolors on some of these. So I took my Tim Holtz embossing glazes and used 4 different ones and sprinkled them on just a little bit. I didn't pour it on like I normally do because they were going to be mixed and I didn't want to pour the mixture back in the jar and I didn't want to waste it all. So I just put a little bit on. A little here, you know, just kind of sprinkled it around and then poured it off, and I saved it. I didn't throw it away. That's the mixture, and that's what's left of it because I used it again. I'll show you. And then I embossed it, and this is how it turned out. And I love the glaze because it gives it a shiny look. And then I used that mixture on the octopus, and you can see different colors in there, and the same thing on the seahorses there. So that's a fun thing to do. I figure they look like small jars, and they are small jars of embossing glaze, but there's a lot in there and you don't use a lot at a time. So I don't know if I've ever run out of an embossing powder, maybe black, and I've been embossing for years. I don't do it all the time, so they last a long time, so I figured I could afford to play around and do that. So I might do a little of that on this little seahorse. Now I could pour a little on and then pour it off and then add the next color, but when you pour it off, it would go on a spot where maybe you wanted a different color to go, and it would stick there. And then another color would not stick there. I'm sorry about this, guys. Maybe I'll just go for it without poking out all those little holes. I can probably do them later because I have all those little holes down there. So let's just show you what I did to emboss my seahorse to get him to look like this and this. I didn't cut out any gears to show you, but this was done on that metallic paper. So I used, these are 2 different techniques. This was not embossed, this one was. So we're going to do this one first. I have my Versamark ink pad. It's called a watermark stamp pad. There's no color to it except for when it gets dirty from using it. And it's wet. It stays wet, so you can pour embossing powder on it and the embossing powder will stick. So I just took my pad and put it all over my seahorse like that. I'm going to move my paper because the embossing powder will stick to that. So here he is, and I'm going to put some green on him. So the reason that this turned out dark, I think, is because I started out with this color, and then I put ink on it, and then I decided to try the embossing thing. So these are clear embossing glazes, so you can see the color underneath, and so I think that's why it's too dark. So I'll use a white underneath. This is an ochre tapestry color, so it has mixed colors in it. So you can see from what I did yesterday, now some of that won't stick because it's already it's laying on top of powder, so what's underneath is what will stick. I just wanted a little bit of that, so there isn't much of that ochre color. It would be fun to just take a little container, a little jar that you might have, or a little plastic container, and mix up a little bit of colors that you like and use them, because then you get this look with multiple colors. And that's what this is. It's mixed colors. And this one is also mixed colors. Can you see? And they came in the jar that way, so you could make your own combinations. Alright, I'm going to have to turn my embossing tool on. My heat gun. I'm going to hold this down. That looks really cool. And I think even if I can't get those little things out of the tail, I think it looks alright. But I will try. Where's my cover? Yeah. Let's see. Yes, that's much better. I could darken him up a little bit. I mean, it's only paper. If I mess it up, I can make another one. So what will I use? Don't think I want to use my timber brown. That's pretty dark. And I don't want to use distress ink because I think that would rub right off. I don't have any. Well, here's a brown pigment ink. I'm just trying to get around the edges. And this might rub off too, I don't know. Yeah, that really gives it a more rustic look. Yes, I like that a lot. There he goes. He's not a tame seahorse. So I think that will be fun on the cover. So it gives you an indication here, this cover gives you an indication that it is a sea themed. We have an octopus and a seahorse, but it's also steampunk because it has the gears. And we'll see what else I do to the octopus. Now, do I have any of the pieces cut out? Yes. I can show you what I did with the gears with that. And I can also do it on the non-metallic pieces. Maybe on the coral. I might regret having that coral cut out in a dark color too. And I can play around with these two in the blue background, doing whatever techniques I want to do. But let me just show you what I already did with the gears. So I used alcohol ink on these. I'm going to put a brown color. I have ginger here, and a blue color. I put green on that gear at first. Trying to find it. I put green on them. I lost one of my gears. It flipped away from me. And it looked pretty. I liked it, but with the blue cover I thought it needed to look more blue, so I added a dark blue to it. And now it almost looks black, but that's okay. It looks like it's been underwater for a long time. So this one is Stream. And I just dropped a little bit on there and it just spread out over. I don't know if you can see. And my camera does not like to zoom. I'll zoom a little bit. But if I zoom too much, it makes a funny noise. I can't hear it, but when I watch the video back, I can. So you can see I drop it on and it just spreads out over the surface a little bit. Oh, I can't open this one. We'll try a different one. That hurts trying to open that. Let's try. I don't want to do butterscotch. This one is Peach Bellini. Let's try that. And that turns the blue green because it's a yellowish color. That's cool. That's all right. And then I just dry it. Didn't want to waste all that color. It dries very quickly. Because it's alcohol based. So my green, my blue is pretty much gone and it turned green, but look at the shimmer on that. It's beautiful. And here it bubbled or something together right there. It just gives it some texture the way they blend together. So I could leave that just as it is and use it on an inside page. And I mopped up a little bit of the ink on here. It's dry already. Oh, butterscotch is open. That one leaked, so I don't have much left. That was before I had a tin to put it in standing upright, and it tipped over in my drawer and it leaked. Go back here. So that's how I colored my gears. I've got some more time. I can color. Oh, this. No, that's not the fish that tore. For some reason, these dies, except for the little starfish, they came from Stampin' Up, and they don't cut all the way out. There are several places where they're still connected. It's not made to cut there. I don't understand why. So I have to cut them. That's with the fish and the seahorse. The coral cuts out completely. I don't think this cut very well. I'm not going to mess with trying to get all these pieces out, because all of these parts of the tail need to come out. Oh, they come out easy. It just makes it look so pretty and lacy. Probably have to close my window pretty soon before it gets hot out. Okay, we're gonna stop there and we're gonna do some more embossing here. Hopefully I can get some more of those pieces out after it's embossed. I just don't want to waste your time. This is the page I put the embossing ink on. I'm only going to do one at a time because the embossing ink will dry. For the fish, let's see. This is Tattered Rose. And Broken China. Poured out a little more than I wanted to. And I don't want it to get mixed up with all those little scraps of paper, so I'm going to dump it out here. Should have cleaned all the scraps of paper off my paper first. Now these can mix together and give me something new. Get back there. My fish keeps swimming away. Let me see if I can still poke things out. I can. Alright, I'll be able to work on that. I might have to use my scissors to trim a little. Yeah. But that turned out pretty, didn't it? I like that. So now I'm going to try using this mixture on the coral. I'm going to do them both together because I'm just going to pour the mixture on both of them at the same time. It's hard to see if you've got it all, unless you can see the shine on it. But you can always go back in with more if you missed a spot. This isn't all covered, but I shake it around until it is all covered. Alright, so this, I don't remember which colors of alcohol or of embossing powder I used, but I tried to make it more, I added more blue on top, and it just soaked right in. When I heated it, the color just disappeared into the brown. But I will use this inside the journal, just not on the cover. And here it is. This one, as I said, was the mixture of all the colors that I used here. And then I used that same mixture but added these colors to it, and I came up with this, which is gorgeous. I love those. Can you see the different colors in there? So this is a really fun way to play, mixing some colors. I'm gonna maybe use this up today. Otherwise, I would find a little container to save it in. So I think I might have to look for some little jars, not even this big, just something little that I could maybe try mixing some colors in for future projects. But I am loving these. All right, I'm gonna do the algae, or the, not algae, coral on the rust and see what happens. Like, this was the color of that first seahorse that turned out so dark. So like I said, the glaze is see-through. It's a glaze, you can see through it. So I don't want to go too dark on it. So I'm thinking adding the green just kind of mixed with the rust. So, well, let's try one that's not see-through. This is ochre tapestry, and this is not one of the glazes. Let me look for another color that's not a glaze. More corally color, like you might see in the sea. I have other glazes too that I didn't bring over. Well, I don't see any that remind me of coral. And I'm wondering about using a white with this pretty green glaze, pistachio. I wonder what it is like to mix a glaze with an embossing powder that's not a glaze. I've had this forever. We'll see what happens. If I don't like it, I don't have to keep it. I don't know if I am going to like it. Let's try it out. Get back here. Okay, so you can see the part where I put the green, you pretty much just see the rust. And it's got little sprinkles of white in it, which makes it look pretty, I think. So I do like this. I like the way that turned out. I might put a little more color on there, though. I'm wondering what this red geranium would look like. This isn't archival, so it wouldn't rub off once it dried. Let's try mulberry. That one's open already. We're just playing. If we don't like it, we don't have to keep it. It's just a little piece of paper and a little bit of embossing powder. And a lot of fun. So I got a little detail brush here. I'm just going to try brushing a little color on. And now I'm going to try some coffee archival ink on top of that. I didn't want the red to be too bright. There. There's our coral. What do you think? Alright, I said I would try to use this up, and now I've got other powder to try to use too. So I think that's it for the video today, but I might play a little bit more before I stop for lunch and see what we come up with. So I hope that you will come back to see some more happenings with the Mechanical SeaWorld journal. I think it's going to be a fun process and a fun project. So thanks for watching. I hope you're having a creative day today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.